2 o'clock, we'll start the meeting. Call the meeting, order. Presentation of funding applications. We'll do Mitchell Disc Golf for $500, and we'll have Kerry Mullenberg come up and talk about that.
Hello, I'm Kerry Mullenberg. I am hosting a disc golf tournament on July 20th. The reason why we're requesting the $500 is first, there's a $300 park closure fee that we need to take care of with the city. Every year since I've started running the tournament, I've ran 2015, 2016, 2017, 2022, 2023. I've paid the $50 event fee myself out of pocket and the $50 proof of insurance, but that was actually only 2022 and 2023. Prior to that, I did not have to provide proof of insurance with the city. So my first 4 years of doing it, I didn't have to. And every year I've provided the water myself for the competitors. This year was the first time that we've had to do the $300 event fee for the Mitchell Open. Last year, I had to do a $300 event fee, but we hosted the South Dakota State Disc Golf Championship, which was quite a bit bigger event than the Mitchell Open, as it was a 3-day event. This one's only a 1-day event. I think I've got our numbers. 2015, we had 37 competitors. 2016, we had 39. 2017, we had 56. 2018, 51. 2022, 63. And 2023, we had 46. There was 2 years that I did not run. Our very first event was 2014. We had 59. We had some minor setbacks, and that's kind of why we dropped down numbers the next few years, and I've slowly built them up. 2021, we had 89. That was an anomaly because it was coming out of COVID. More people were disc golfing, so we got basically a max event. 2018 and 2019, we were not able to do an event because of construction, so we didn't do an event. 2020 was COVID year, so we didn't do an event. Really, the money that we're asking for is for the $300 to close the city park down. Last year when we ran the Mitchell Open, we had an issue where some people who were not in the tournament showed up. They ended up throwing at some of the competitors. One of the competitors grabbed the disc and threw it towards the creek and then yelled profanity at them. But the hole prior to that, they were much nicer, so they did it 2 holes in a row. Those people who did that, threw at our competitors, texted the mayor directly. So then that's why we've started the process of closing the event or the course down. As of right now, we have 5 people signed up. I feel like we're gonna get probably closer to 30. Numbers are significantly down this year in disc golf. So I don't think we're gonna get that many, but you never know. We got 2 weeks left. It could grow to 50. So that's my speech. I'm Kerry.
So it costs you $300 to have the park shut down, is that what you said?
That's what the city's trying to charge us,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
And this is the first year that we're gonna get charged that.
Okay,
Prior to that, I'd always fill out a form where it said $3 per person or $300 for the event, and it had never went to city council, so it had always been waived by the city, but now they want us to go through the city council. The city council didn't want to waive it, so now that's why we're requesting the funds.
Do you think that was just a one-off? I mean, if we didn't have to close the park and you did some signage about.
I have signages, I do have signages that says, watch for flying disc, tournament in progress. I personally, I don't want to shut down the bike path. I don't want to shut down the skate park. I don't want to shut down the baseball field out at Dry Run Creek. Really, it's just a matter of the disc golf course. When our event people are out there, if we have 30 people, I wouldn't see a problem having random people on the course as long as they're not throwing at our competitors.
Right.
Like, I have no problem with people being on the course at the same time.
Harry, you had some numbers. Out of those 30 or 35, how many from out of town, do you think?
So right now, we have 5 people signed up, 1 including myself. 2 of them are one's from Sioux Falls, one's from Brandon. Typically, it's a number between, I think, we have about 10 disc golfers in Mitchell
Okay.
who play tournaments. So years past, like 37, I think that year we probably had about 6, so 31 of them were out of town.
Okay.
Like, the year that we had 89, there was probably 79 of them from out of town.
What's the timeframe for it?
So it all depends on the competitors. We typically our first round starts at 9, and then we're out, like, am typically gone away from the course by 3 p.m. And that's doing 2 rounds. Like, it's pretty quick.
Any other questions?
How do you think you can grow the tournament to more numbers?
Is it a prize fund thing or?
So right now, the numbers are down across the state. They're doing a big 2-day tournament in Yankton, where in the past it's had over 100 competitors. Today, they had 46 signed up, and that's this weekend.
I
So-
suspect it has something to do with mosquitoes.
I don't even know if they're bad in Yankton, mosquitoes, but numbers are just down in disc golf right now in general. Like, they had really picked up steam after COVID, and then, like, the last few years, they've went down. Like, we had 100 last year for the state tournament, and I was actually hoping to get closer to, like, the 140 number. But
I was walking dry run
it's awful
last
right
fall
now.
and this spring, and the spring before it got wet, there was a lot of users yet on Tuesday and Wednesday nights that are out there as far as your regular people playing, but since that time, I think it has tailed off.
Since the flood, yeah, I haven't went to the league yet since the flood, so I don't know. With it being a week and a half away, it's gonna be interesting, a lot of bug spray.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to Cornelia with Allison Palmer for $7,500.
All right, I'm Allison Palmer. Me and Arian are here in lieu of Scott Mullmeister.
Do you want to just stand a little closer to the microphone?
Do I have to? I have a teacher voice, I should be pretty loud. I work at the school district, and we've spent a lot of time with getting everything ready to go for this tournament. It's been since 2019 since we've had a tournament at the Pepsi Complex. So we don't have records or a previous grants amount. Our board has completely turned over in the last 3 years, so we have a fresher, younger, I guess, ready to take on some new challenges. We are asking for $7,500 for this tournament, and a lot of that money is going towards our field costs and refs. Those are some of our bigger expenses. This is a 2-day tournament. It's going to be over the weekend. We haven't decided Friday night or not.
Not for sure Friday night, but for sure Saturday, and then they would play into Sunday as well.
So we averaged about the teams that would be registering, and we would probably, with the 2 nights, taking 70% of all the people that come for these tournaments. Each age division has a different set that can be rostered. So we would average maybe around 392 hotel rooms for that weekend. Not everyone's going to stay. There's tournaments that we go to for Brookings, and I will drive home, but if we go to Watertown or somewhere farther, we'll spend the night when we have tournaments too, so.
So how many teams are you talking about this year? I don't know if I caught that.
We're hoping for around 20, 22.
Would they be overnights? Would they be people that are
Yes.
further away enough from Mitchell that
It
they
would
would
be
be staying
probably
in
2
hotels?
games Saturday, 1 game Sunday, so it would require an overnight stay. About 70% of families would stay, I would say.
So are you part of the Mitchell Soccer Association?
Yes, we're volunteers on the board.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right, all right.
We came to present because Scott decided to go hunting in Canada.
Do you want to talk to him a little bit about what we lined up for like, businesses?
Okay, so one of the things that we wanted to make sure we did was to draw some business down to Main Street and the community. So I have already spoken with Big Dummies, I've talked with Bradley's, Crazy About Cupcakes, Subway, and
Daylight Donuts.
Daylight Donuts. They're all going to either run specials and help out so we can drop business down to Main Street so they can come down and eat. They're gonna do like a soccer family special. I think I talked to somebody at the chamber about putting bags together. And so all the businesses that I've talked to so far are willing to come up with like a coupon or something to go in those bags so all the soccer families can have that. Like, hey, you can go to Bradley's and get buy one, get one burgers or whatever their special is gonna be. We haven't gone over the specifics, but.
And they put the bracket together in such a way to where there's a 3 or 4 hour window between those games, so there is time to visit downtown.
Yes.
It is a First Friday event that night too, which might be kind of fun for out-of-towners. You know, there's live music and food trucks and games and free stuff for the little brothers and sisters. And so, well, we certainly appreciate you bringing this tournament back to life because we know that space has not gotten used.
Nope, it needs to get used more.
And so it takes passionate folks like you to do that. So thank you for bringing it back to Mitchell.
Any other questions for the ladies? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to South Dakota State Amateur Baseball Tournament, and we'll do Jim Johnston.
You want me to do it here, or you want me to go up on the pedestal?
Wherever,
Podium.
probably hear you better. up
All
there.
right, all right. I always feel a little bit uncomfortable doing this since I'm also on the board, but for people who have never been before, I abstained from the vote. It's just that happens to be I'm the chairman of the State Amateur Baseball Tournament, along with serving on the board. The State Amateur Tournament's a 12-day tournament. It starts on August 6th at Cadwell Park and ends on the 17th. We bring 38 teams to Mitchell during those 12 days, and actually some of these teams are coming 5 different times, so it's actually like bringing 70 or 80 teams there. We have to estimate all the time, but based upon our crowds, we bring between 10 and 13,000 people to Mitchell over the course of 12 days. This is the 6th straight year that we've hosted the State Amateur Tournament. Unfortunately, next year it is moving to Brandon Valley, but we do have it back again in 26 and 27, and I have never felt that when we've lost the tournament, we lost it because we did something wrong. It's because the commissioners feel that they need to go to other places once in a while because a lot of other towns have requested to be in the state tournament. So I've never felt like it's because our park wasn't in good shape or we did anything wrong. It's just a matter of rotating around to different places. Just a little bit more history on the state tournament. The first time that Mitchell ever hosted the state tournament was in 1975, and we have hosted it 35 times since then. So we've had it 35 years out of the last 49 years. So we've had a pretty good run. The reason I think we've had success at the tournament is when the commissioners come here, they know us all, and they know that we're going to run a good tournament and it's going to be organized. And I know it's because we have a great workforce out at Cadwell Park all the time. We have a ground crew of volunteers of about 45 guys, and we don't need that many all the time, but if we have to pull out the big field tarp, it takes 40 people to do that, so those guys are on call. They're all wearing workers' hats of ours out there, so everybody knows that we have volunteers that are working out there, and I know that's a big deal for the association. And the other thing I think about having in Mitchell at Cadwell Park is the Exchange Club. The Exchange Club plays a big part in the tournament. They obviously run the concessions for a profit, but they are a very friendly crew. Their prices are very competitive. Nobody complains about the prices of hamburgers or beer or any of that sort of stuff, though. So we think it's a fair concession stand. I think the other reason we've had it a lot is that the association knows that we're going to put we're going to put money back into the ballpark. Any money that we make out at Cadwell Park during the state amateur baseball tournament, Mitchell Cadwell, goes back into improvements out at Cadwell Park. We've had a wonderful relationship between the City of Mitchell, the Mitchell Baseball Association, and Dakota Wesleyan University in regards to improvements out at Cadwell Park. And this year we have a major improvement out there with the new roof over the stadium, which people have asked about for a long time, and a new press box, which was very much needed. So there's been a lot of improvements made. I'm not going to go through them all, but there's been a lot of improvement made at Cadwell Park in the last 20 years, and that's one of the other reasons we get a lot of tournaments. I actually think that the state amateur tournament's a win-win-win situation. It's a win for the city of Mitchell because we're bringing 10 to 13,000 people to town. It's a win for Mitchell baseball because that's our biggest fundraiser of the year. And it's a win for the Exchange Club. It is their only, since they don't sell concessions at the rodeo anymore, it is their only form of operation in regards to making some money. And those of you who've been in Mitchell understand the Exchange Club supports 30 or 40 different programs in Mitchell. So it's a big deal for Mitchell, it's a big deal for Mitchell baseball, and it's a big deal for the Exchange Club. Our request is for $5,000. And just so you know where that money goes, the tournament's a 12-day tournament, and there's 5 of those days where the commissioners can't leave Cadwell Park because they've got 2 afternoon games, they've got about an hour break in between sessions, and then they've got 2 more night games. And so we have catered meals in for them for those 5 days. That costs, the $5,000 request is part of that. That costs between $1,500 and $1,700 to do that. We pay for rent out at Cadwell Park, and we pay for the lights out at Cadwell Park during the tournament, and that usually runs over $2,000. We have to pay for a scoreboard operator, we have to pay for ticket sellers, workers' camps, tent rentals, social for the coaches, or social for the commissioners and our workforce during the championship game of the tournament, and also for a P announcer. So basically the $5,000 goes towards cost of operating to actually be able to run the tournament. That's how we use the funding. You know, it's a little difficult. I realize that this committee is built around hotel rooms, and I understand that. The state amateur tournament's a little tough to decide how many actual hotel rooms we take because the B towns are driving in one day and they're driving back home. Canova people are not going to stay overnight. Salem people are not. When the Class A teams come the second weekend, they are staying overnight. So the commissioners alone are here for 10 days, and that's about 120 hotel rooms. And everybody says I estimate low, but I think by the end of the day, we probably use 350 hotel rooms during the course of the 12-day tournament. That's all I got to say. Anything else? Any questions?
Of that 350, the commissioners part of that?
What again?
The commissioners stay, right?
Yeah, the commissioners, and I'm not sure where they stay anymore, but there's 12 of them that stay for 10 nights. So that is part of that. And our P announcer stays overnight, the umpire stays overnight. And once the final weekend comes around, teams do stay overnight Friday night, especially when the Class A teams get here, because they're teams from Aberdeen, Rapid City, and Yankton. So they are going to stay. So they are going to stay overnight.
And I think there's a number of folks that decide to stay, they're going to stay for a game, say, you know what, let's just stay, because tomorrow we play at, and they get a room and stay. Even the Canovas and the Alexandrias, those people say, you know what, little vacation before school starts type of thing.
Yeah, more people stay than what a lot of people think stay out there, I believe. Anything else? You know, Mitchell baseball hasn't been here all year. We've normally come with other requests, and our early bird tournament and our Harv Johnson, Brian Wilson Memorial Tournament were both one-day tournaments this year, so we did not come in with the request. But Tim, I believe we have the state youth tournament again next year. Am I right? I think we do, which is at the end of July, and that's a 3-day tournament that brings in all the Class A youth baseball teams from around the state. So that is a big event that we put on. But our 2 other tournaments were both one-day tournaments this year, so we did not come in and ask for a request. But we've had a good relationship with this committee and with the city in regards to all the things we've done out of Cadwell Park. You know, it's kind of interesting, the state amateur tournament is kind of one of the ways that this committee got formed in the first place, because it used to be a softball tournament would come to town, and the local softball committee would go to a city council meeting on a Monday night and request $1,500 for park rental, and then we'd get the $1,500, then we write the check back to the city for $1,500 for park rental. And everybody was coming to the council and asking for money, and that was one of the ideas behind this committee, is that we would have the funding somehow, and that they would not have to go to the city council and ask for funding, and use of city facilities would be paid for, the city's not being asked to give the facilities away. So that's kind of how we got started.
Jim,
Thanks.
for those that may not know, can you share the shared cost on the new roof over the grandstand?
Yes. Yeah, that was the Mitchell Baseball Association was 1/4 of that, Dakota Wesleyan University was 1/4 of that, and the city was half of that. And basically, that has been the arrangement that we've had with the city on improvements out of Cadwell Park, is that, we've had certain things like the backstop, it was $52,000, and Mitchell Baseball paid for everything. But when we put lights in 2001, that was about $150,000, and the city paid for everything on that. But the improvements that we've made out there over the last 10 years have been 50-50 deals between baseball money and City of Mitchell money. And Dakota Wesleyan became a big part of it when we turfed Drake Field, because Dakota Wesleyan wanted a field of their own. And what would normally happen at Drake Field, we couldn't take care of the field because Dakota Wesleyan wanted to practice on it until the snow flies, so you couldn't do any fall renovation. They wanted back on it the first day the snow melts, so you couldn't do anything to the field at that time. And so now that we have turf, they can play as long as they want in the fall and as early as they want in the spring. That was one of the reasons we had the turf at Cadwell in the first place. But yeah, Doug, you're right. I mean, it's normally been a 50% baseball money, 50% city money, and it's worked together in a great relationship. So we've been able to make a lot of improvements out there because we have those three organizations working together on it. First time I've been to the podium.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to approval of last meeting's minutes. Anybody have any?
No, so I can't.
Motion by LaRue, second by Brian. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Minutes passed. Financial report.
Okay, that document's included in your packet as well here. I'll get it up on the screen here. So these are Sports and Events Authority financials. They'll be year-to-date July 2nd. Our total expenses so far, the checks that have been written in 2024 is $51,450. Fund balance of $48,550. Currently, there are no outstanding events where checks have not been written towards, which leaves a current available fund balance for the SEA committee of $48,550. In our total collections by month chart, first off, an update in the February collections for the month of January. That is increased to $14,549, and all establishments have submitted their collections. And then the collections that were submitted in June for the month of May is $29,828. And there's one establishment that's past due with that. Our year-to-date collections through June is $115,043. That equates to 59,936 room nights sold. And then our year-to-date room nights sold comparisons chart at the bottom there. 2023, we are up 4%, which is 2,384 room nights sold. 2022, we're up 0.9%, which is 522 room nights sold. 2021, we're up 11%, which is 6,616 room nights sold. 2020, we're up 29.9%, which is just under 18,000 room nights sold. 2019, we're up 11.3%, which is 6,777 room nights sold. And 2018, we're up 7.6%, 4,547 room nights sold.
Anything on the increase in May from last year? grand last year and over 24 this year.
So I know we discussed, the May would be the bowling. We had bowling every weekend.
We also increased the bid 50%.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
construction going on.
But so, sorry, George, go ahead.
Well, and similarly for
June.
June too.
Yep.
And that's more than 50 cents. And there's
Yep, so the June collections, so the month of May, we still had 2 weekends in May where we had the bowling. There was a couple 3-day conferences at the Highland. We had graduations, Memorial Weekend.
Let's get one more.
Aaron, so the 59,936 room nights sold in 2024
Yes,
compared to 2023 is just through June, right?
yes, that's just year-to-date.
So the first 6 months, we've sold 2,400 more room nights than we did the previous year. Is that how I read that?
Do you want to say that again?
So in 2023, it was 57,552.
Yep,
This year
through,
it's 59,936, so we sold 2,400 roughly more room nights.
more rooms than last year to this point.
You seeing a lot more traffic? You seeing a lot more traffic?
Yeah, we've had a good year, but it's just a lot of room nights to increase, which is great.
But you got 342. Wow, that number.
Just one for this month.
No, but the 3 that used to.
Oh, yep, 3, yep, okay. Yeah, good point there.
And statewide, visitors are down a bit. We're seeing that in Mitchell, and statewide they're down too. So there's some things going on in Mitchell. They're bringing people here. Construction, obviously one of them. The big plant, I see those trucks, the same trucks, every day go by my street too, so.
Because unfortunately, Emily's running 50% through the
I'm over 50 now.
first 5 to 6 months.
I'm over
We
50.
lost the Ramada, and we didn't have the My Place yet, so that's a big jump.
The construction's starting to run into problems with materials though. I had 3 rooms that were gonna stay for 2 months and they left because they had no materials for them.
Certainly nothing this group can control.
No, but
Well,
it's
and
stayed.
I had
Well, and technically,
railroaders for over 4 weeks.
and Brian, I don't think your rooms would be reported on this year's totals at least, because they're not included in the bid this year, right?
Right. I'm just stating
Yeah.
people in town.
Either way, it's looking good for 2024.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Doug. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against nay? Motion passed. Evaluation forms.
Okay, we had 2 evaluation forms and financials submitted. I don't think those are in your packet. I'll have them up here on the screen. The first one was for the Show Choir Classic. That was Saturday, March 16th. They estimated 1,200 total spectator attendance, 1,000 total participants for the event. They estimated 75 room nights sold, Comfort and the Hampton Inn. The SEA awarded 5,000, which were primarily used for the judges' expenses for the event. And then they provided a PL where the net income was $16,763.05. And those profits are used for their travel and expenses for the upcoming competition season. Our next evaluation form was from the Special Olympics State Basketball Tournament. As we remember, that one was shortened to just a 1-day event because of incoming weather, so that took place Saturday, March 23rd. Estimated 1,000 spectator attendance, over 900 participants, 150 room nights sold, Americ Inn and Comfort Inn. We get an opportunity to host the event again in 2025, March 22nd and 23rd. SEA originally awarded $12,000 with the request from the committee because of the shortened event. They returned $6,000 of that, so the SEA just awarded $6,000. Those were used to offset some of the expenses for the event. A side note, there was fundraising that the Special Olympics South Dakota did. They ended up raising $12,000, which they donated and shared with Phil Collins and the Special Olympics delegation here in Mitchell. They had, after that $12,000 was donated, here at the bottom, they ended with a net profit of $2,886.32, and that amount was used for staffing expenses. And I guess just a note, missed a portion of the profit loss for the Show Choir Classic, but I know when Jason was here sharing about it on their P&L, he shared about the judges' expenses being very significant, and it shows they had $13,036.68 for judges, whether that's to bring them in, travel, lodging, meals. And I'll just continue on with the agenda here quick. Upcoming events. These can be reviewed at your convenience, but I did want to highlight one here that was awarded SEA funding. We have Friday, July 26th through Sunday, July 28th. We have the revival of the Arts in the Park at Hitchcock Park. And as always, complete list of events on the Mitchell Chamber events calendar.
Okay, should we move into executive session? Good to go, okay, we're back for the funding part of it. Mitchell Disc Golf Open, a $500 request.
I'll make a motion to deny the request based on a small number of participants and encourage them to not close the park and/or pay the fee unless the numbers get substantially larger than that 25 to 30 number, and then we'd reconsider if the numbers go higher.
And I would second that.
Okay, we got a motion by Doug, second by Dave. All in favor of the motion to deny, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion to deny. Cornucopia, or whatever it is, for $7,500. The request.
I make a motion to table it and have them come back in August to let us know the number of participants.
I second it.
Got a motion by LaRue to table it, second by Brian. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Okay, we'll table that one until August. State baseball tournament, amateur baseball tournament for $5,000 request.
I would make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
A motion by Dave, second by Brian. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. Motion,
Abstain?
And then Tim Smith and Jocko abstained from voting.
okay. Motion passes. Next meeting will be August 13th. We are adjourned.